Now, Ukraine's latest drone campaign is now reaching beyond the battlefield and into one of Russia's most important maritime lifelines. And Russia has temporarily suspended shipping through the Sea of Azov after a wave of Ukrainian drone strikes targeted vessels and key infrastructure, raising fresh questions about Moscow's military logistics and supply routes. Let's first understand why this region matters. Now let's take a look at a map to understand further. The Sea of Azov, highlighted here, lies between southern Ukraine and southwestern Russia. It connects to the Black Sea through the Kerch Strait, making it a vital maritime corridor. Now this route is crucial and critical for Russia. Cargo from inland waterways moves through the Don-Azov canal into the Sea of Azov before entering the Black Sea. It is used to transport fuel, grain, industrial goods, and military supplies. Key Russian ports along this route include Rostov-on-Don, Taganrog, and Mariupol. And according to reports, Ukrainian drone strikes have forced Russia to suspend shipping through the Don-Azov canal and tighten security across the Sea of Azov, disrupting one of Moscow's key logistics and export routes before vessels can continue into the Black Sea. Ukraine says it has expanded its long-range drone operations to target Russia's maritime logistics, while Moscow has responded by restricting vessel movement in the region. So how significant is this disruption? And could these strikes have a lasting impact on Russia's military supply chain and exports? Well, to discuss this, we are now being joined by Lieutenant Colonel Glen Grant from Kyiv. He is former advisor to the Defense Minister of Ukraine and fellow at the Baltic Security Foundation. Thank you so much for joining on the program for us.
No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Right. And now, of course, we know that what we know from this Sea of Azov, which is really important from Russia, we know that Ukraine appears to be systematically targeting these oil refineries, fuel depots, and logistics hubs. How big of an impact do you think Ukraine can make with these attacks?
Well, the impact is huge at the moment. And you've only got to look at the pictures of the long queues of civilian vehicles waiting for fuel in the first instance. I mean, 3-4 kilometers long in Crimea. And people are having to wait 2 or 3 days to get some fuel for their car. And even then it's actually rationed. So yes, so it's having an effect. And the attack on the Sea of Azov, of course, is actually having more effect because that was bringing fuel to Crimea. So Crimea is in a bit of a difficult situation because of this. And Russia is stuck now because on one side the roads to Crimea are being hit by drones, and on the other side the sea to Crimea is being hit by drones. And you will know that, of course, that Crimea was the jewel in the crown for Putin. So the effect politically, if Crimea falls or crashes, will be huge.
I'll come to Crimea, but could this become one of Ukraine's most effective strategies against Russia as of now?
Oh, I think it is the only effective strategy against Russia at the moment, because if you look at the political strategies, well, okay. You could say that Zelensky is doing well now with Putin with Trump for the first time, because that was a strategy that wasn't working. But overall, Russia is still doing extremely well politically by buying up politicians left, right, and centre, and still in the American government there are politicians that are more siding with Russia, like Vitkov. Than there are actually siding with Ukraine. On the front line, then the front line is just is getting better for Ukraine in the south, and holding but going backwards slowly in the north. So this oil and energy attack is the main thing, the main weapon that Ukraine has got, and they seem to be using it extremely well.
All right, coming to Crimea, as you also mentioned, it's important for Russia. It remains Russia's key military hub in the Black Sea. Could Ukraine's attacks on Sea of Azov shipping eventually isolate it? Is it a possibility?
Oh, I think it's isolated already. Maybe not as much as total collapse, but the fact that Russia can't get fuel in there in a sensible fashion and the only thing that's sort of left standing on a plus side for Crimea is the Kursk bridge, but this is on one side. This is huge queues of vehicles, and Russia is wary of putting trains or fuel across it because of attacks by Kyiv. And they don't want to lose the bridge because it's so important. So they don't want to entice Ukraine to destroy the bridge. And Ukraine doesn't want to destroy the bridge because they want people to leave, because that's a huge political sign.
Now, with these plans to produce Patriot systems domestically and a major government reshuffle, as you mentioned as well, is Ukraine now preparing for a prolonged conflict?
Oh, I don't think Ukraine has got any doubts at all that it is a long conflict. I know that Zelensky has said several times it could end this year. And let us be perfectly clear, it could end this year, but only if Russia collapses. And with all the things that are going on, especially with the fuel and the sort of the trouble that this is now causing in terms of food resupply, fuel resupply, pretty much everything resupply, because if lorries can't get fuel, they can't deliver. This trouble across the whole of Russia is going to cause something to happen. Now, what that something is, I don't know. Whether that something is pro-Russian and some sort of more serious attack on Ukraine, or whether it is anti-Putin, and then we see a change of government, and then whatever happens, I don't know. But I'm fairly sure that something is going to happen, because you can't drive a society into the ground like Russian society is at the moment, and there not be some sort of bounce back effect.
Well, there doesn't seem to be an off-ramp at this point of time, because, of course, Ukraine is also attacking, and in the latest, they've attacked Moscow, as far as we know. So, considering the fact that they're going for long-range missile strikes, do you think how long can Ukraine actually sustain this, according to you?
Oh, I think Ukraine can just keep going. I think it's in a I'm going to say in a fairly comfortable level. That's the right. Comfortable is not the right word for what's happening, but it is in a level. It's being supported by the Europeans, even if America is being a bit slow on it. And I think that most European countries understand that this is not going to stop in a hurry. But yes, I mean, I don't see anything in Ukraine that tells me that Ukraine is on its last legs. In fact, quite the contrary. I see quite a dynamic country at the moment, and even right up close to the front line where I was yesterday. You know, life is going on and quite busily. So yeah, Ukraine will keep going because it can't afford to lose this.
And when you talk about allies, how do you expect Ukraine's allies to support Ukraine in probably a materialistic manner? In what ways? Because Ukraine has been asking for aid for a long time now, and we haven't really seen anything other than sanctions from these allies. What are you expecting from these other allies in the future if this conflict goes on?
I think an increase in sanctions steadily, partly as they understand where the sanctions are being circumvented and by whom, and then they will work outwards from that. I mean, a lot of the Russian prime companies have been sanctioned, but the smaller suppliers that feed them have not. So there's still a lot of work that can be done there on sanctions. But then the main thing is delivery of weapon systems. And this is being done by countries like Germany and the Netherlands, Denmark, actually buying weapon systems and then delivering them to Ukraine. And then the other thing is just hard cash, because Ukraine has got an army of 1 million plus, and that eats the money, as you can imagine. So, and I think that Europe can afford to keep going the way it's going with weapons and cash. It may not be enough to drive Ukraine to win, but but I'm sure it will last long enough for Russia to lose.
That's interesting you said for Russia to lose, because at this point in time, how would you predict the next few weeks to go? Because as of now, lives are being lost, and we know that it's both in Russia and Ukraine that lives are being lost, and doesn't seem to see an off-ramp. Do you think there is a possibility of off-ramp? But Trump seems to be a little positive on that side, but as far as we know, there has been no talks.
Let's be blunt. Trump is clueless about this. He's got no idea what's going on in the war. He's ill. And one should not take anything that he says with any seriousness. Maybe listen to Rubio, but certainly don't listen to Vitkov or Kushner, because both of those are pro-Russian. So the off-ramp, any off-ramp through America is a zero starter. And what we're talking about is one side has got to win this war, because Ukraine can't give in. It's existential. It's their life, and for Putin, it's existential. So there will only be a major change, frankly, if Putin dies or is removed, and then we get someone else and see what happens then. But I don't see any political off-ramp coming at all in the near future, because I don't think that Putin is in any way, shape or form ready to give up this war. If anything, he'll double down and try and actually win it. I think he still believes he is winning, but that's him.
All right. Well, of course, we have to see if this is going anywhere between for a peace talk or maybe a further escalation. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel Grant, for joining us on the program and giving your opinions. Appreciate it very much.
Not at all. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.